what's going on? It's like there's more parallels with this Salem witch trials and the the fungal the fungus infestation. See, I'm starting to think now. I'm starting to think. Like, I wonder in history if there's such a time that was dark. Maybe the sun was at a solar minimum, and there was a global cooling for a few years where the great glaciers renewed all a sudden, and people had to live with no summers. Like, look, and it was a very dark, depressing time where there was many strange occurrings. You know what I'm saying? And I know the Native Americans also talk about like mini ice ages in modern times, like not far off, look, distant history. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, and I'm wondering if during these times that if there was a maybe such things as World War and apocalyptic type scenarios and events, maybe emperors and conquerors and great social upheavals and like travesties. And look, and you see people acting kind of like they just don't give a f. Like a time such as now, like look, where there's many people out there where it almost seems as if they almost are not human anymore. You know what I'm saying? Where look, there's times in my life where look, I'm around certain people, and at times they almost look like a freaking robot because they're just going about things like a drone. And there is a fungus that I've seen this video where there's this cicada bug, and during these emergences where they all come out, like during these different 7-year intervals, that one out of every 1,000 will come out, and it'll have this telltale sign where it will have a little orange little like pit in its abdomen and its belly, and it's basically backside, right? Its backside is being eaten, and it's still alive, okay? And supposedly the bug doesn't know that it's being consumed and ate alive by fungus, and it actually thinks it's having a good time because it's basically releasing DMT, freaking LSD, psilocybin, and MDMA. So it's like the whole drug like panel is present in this one freaking fungus in this bug. And you could literally like take that little bug and put it in someone's Kool-Aid, and if they drank that, they would be feeling like that bug is. That's so funny because today we seen some dude, and he was like flocka dancing. Like, he was just like standing out like somewhere, like just dancing. Like, look, and his legs was really up. And we was like, whoa, dang. And dude was like, well, that's what happens when you do meth. And I was like, that's not meth he's on, dog. You know what I'm saying? I goes, maybe wasp, dope, but... And then it was like, I goes, he's probably on bath salts, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or flocka. I mean, never tried it. Wouldn't want to try it from what I've seen on the internet. You know what I'm talking about? But just like I wouldn't want to be that cicada. You know, even though he's probably like enjoying himself like a lot, but he's basically a host for another organism that is consuming it alive. Dang, about to lose freaking up. But anyway, the time during the Dark Ages, okay, there's the reindeer mushroom, okay. I seen reindeer mushrooms everywhere. And I seen this video about some guy called the Trip Guru, and he lived out in the woods, and he had all these things harvested, like, and this stuff comes from Europe, and they're actually, you could also call them Santa Claus mushrooms. The reason why Santa Claus is a big red guy with a red face, and he has these little elves, is because they would eat those freaking reindeer mushrooms and have a hallucination, like psilocybin time, like magic mushrooms, basically, right? And it was a religion. It's like a kind of pagan religion associated with Christmas, the Christmas tree, and all those, the stuff that we look at now. And Huxley was talking about finding some magical mushroom medicine that the people would eat every day, and they would be basically slaves in a world, and they would enjoy it, and they would love their servitude because they were tricked and coerced scientifically. You know what I'm saying? Frickin' by, look, be making you dependent on the government to give you your soma pill when it's just an fly alimentary mushroom that grows under the pine tree. And look, they are everywhere, dude. Like right now. And I think this is happening because of the global dimming and cooling. I mean, just because it's doing other stuff in other places, dude, it's like a different planet here. It's always misty, always dark, always wet, no sunshine. Ain't no sunshine in Michigan. Dun, 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 dun. You know, only chemtrails every day. Ain't no chemtrails when she's gone. Anyway, I mean, and with the nihilism and the rampant paganism, and like, look, people are ready to go back to a kind of neo-feudal society where different people will be allocated life and death power. Like, it seems like that's what all of them want, man. Freaking, so it's like, it's medieval, and this probably happened in the Dark Ages. This is what the Dark Ages was these mushrooms were growing everywhere. People were infected with the fungus from the crops because they were failing, basically. They were rotting, and freaking, they were under attack by a judgment and a plague, and no one even knew it because it's so subtle, dude. It's just the little microorganisms and little freaking things that are almost imperceptible, just little spores. You know what I'm saying? And because they're toxic, so they make people. It's kind of like when people act out of when they're wounded, they react really harshly, right? So what if you didn't know you was wounded, but your body's hormones were telling you, "I'm under attack. I'm under attack." So people were walking around all like this, like just ready to be triggered, and they were going to unload that chemical dose on the nearest threat, because that's all it is. It's a chemical dose. Like, look, I've done drugs. I know what it's like to just be out of your fucking mind, like, for a minute. And it's like you'll be happy when it stops. You know what I'm saying? There's times that it's like that. Freaking, you know what I'm saying? Because I kind of, you know, that's the type of stuff we did in our generation and in my neck of the woods. You know what I'm saying? But everywhere I go, I've seen it there too. It's because it's scientifically engineered and programmed, and we were duped into being experimentees, man, by agendas like MK Ultra and stuff like that, dude. Dude, MK Ultra has been going on since the beginning of time, and they would use the chemicals to keep people asleep, to opiate the masses. I heard that, and it's like, no, literally. I mean, every little culture, civilization has it. You know what I'm saying? To some extent or another, and it's kind of just some weird, funky stuff, like stuff that we think is just like one thing, but if you go look at its history, and you'll be like, what? Santa's Satan? What? And what the heck is a Krampus? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, look, and if you look at the thing that caused this mass hallucination, mass nationalistic freaking cultural hallucination, like literally, because they were all drinking out of the same freaking Kool-Aid, Jim Jones, and they were having a real good time, and they were seeing elves. There's a guy named Terence McKenna, and he was an ethnobotanist, was paid for the government to get high and then write about it. He was a scientist and a freaking hardcore, like, the real drugger. You know what I'm saying? Like he was really in contact with stuff, and it's it's pretty creepy. But and the dude, dog, that's another thing he said about the mold. Certain molds can give you a portal to the another world, to a micro world, or a dark world, or the spirit world, or the hive mind, or the spirit of the age, the spirit of the Antichrist. Look, there's stuff like, dude, just not eating right can make people lose their mind. Like, seriously, malnourishment after so long will make someone lose their mind. A few days without sleeping, people are already slipping into losing their mind, and they're in temporary insanity already. You know what I'm saying? After so many hours, like, you're literally freaking sleep deprivated, and you're having micro hallucinations. And it's funny because people might not even realize that they're having them, but you sitting and observing them, you can see that they are, right? It's creepy. But the mind's a powerful thing, and it's crazy. It can get crazy, and it can get altered by outside forces. You can do stuff to yourself to get your mind pre-triggered and self-triggered and hypnotized and programmed for self-destruct. You know what I'm saying? But this is a very, like, look, I'm telling you, there's more to this than just this kind of woo about it. You know what I'm saying? Going into the occult and these magical mushroom adventures with the elves. But anyway, man. Yeah. I wonder if has anyone else out there noticed more fungus in the recent years?